Okay, I'm doing something easy today until my shoulder just keeps coming back hurting and whatnot, to set up for the installation of the twin prong oil pressure gauge setup that I'm going to use. Inside I have a gauge that actually shows the pressure, and it never had a light in it, and so I found one here. And let me just turn around here. So I found one here. I got this out of a pick, actually. It was just laying there. So it fits right into the bottom of the gauge. The gauge never had a light on it, so I'm going to put a light on it. This is the ground. This is the lead, the hot lead, the positive. So I'm going to come off of the lead and put a Deutsch plug on it. And because it's a lead that runs off the lights, I put a splice in here. Deutsch plugs don't have an easy way to, I guess, bridge over to others. So I just spliced a line into it and onto the other one so I can use it at a later date, maybe, if I need to. And then it'll go into this like that. And this lead, I'm going to have to make the lead longer, will go in there. So when I turn my lights on, this light will light up, and my oil pressure gauge inside the cab will light up as well. In the Fords, especially those that came with a trailer or towing package, this little sucker just sits there. I mean, so this made it easy for me. This comes on when the lights come on. It runs running lights. And I'm just gonna tap into this, and then I'm going to run a wire into the cab from here. It makes it much easier than getting under the dash, tearing the dash apart, and it serves my purposes for right now. Since the light is so, it's not bright, I don't need it to be connected to my dash light switch, which you can turn up or turn down. So that's what we're doing here. Okay, well, I just thought I'd at least show you my oil gauge finally works. So the dual system is so far working, but this here, which is what was in it, this is working as well. And she's pretty responsive. So I have dual gauges now, and I'll show you how I set it up here when I go back outside and shut this. Well, I intended on using a braided line to put in my inside the cab gauge. However, my inside the cab gauge is a Sunpro and cheap, of course, so there was no fitting that I could find to get this to hook up. So I went back with a plastic line. The old plastic line that was on it was leaking, no doubt about it. So that's the setup right there. I've got the stock OEM gauge coming off the back, and then there's that brass fitting that comes up, then the stock gauge off the back, and then off the top, because of the air fittings here, part of which runs my brake assist, comes off the top and then runs into the cab, and you can kind of see the tube right there running into the cab, and everything works, nothing leaks. So we'll see. It was definitely leaking when I took it off. There's no doubt in my mind it was leaking. And so now we'll see if that bottom link off the bell housing stops. If not, I'm suspecting it could be this valve cover gasket right here. But anyway, that's a pretty nice little modification. And I hated having just a dead gauge inside. Now a lot of people will say, well, it doesn't matter. You know, if you have the gauge inside is not good, the mechanical gauge is better, and that's true. But you know, I kind of wanted a fail safe. That's exactly what I did here. I pulled the mechanical gauge. I made it T from Jersey Customs. Jersey Customs made a T. I pulled the gauge off one section, and then for the other section, I still have the idiot light, which runs off a oil pressure switch. So I've got the same thing now on the truck. and we'll see how she does. And we'll see if she leaks. All right? Hang loose, man. Hey everybody, I've just remembered that I haven't crawled under the truck and show you the oil leak that I made, or that I found, and part of the reason why I went to the dual system for the oil pressure gauges, having a dual oil pressure gauge system, is part of the reason why I decided to change it out, because I had a leak at the oil pressure opening, spout, spot, whatever you want to say, on the engine. So I'm going to take some time out from this little baby that I made, and let's go crawl under here so I can show you where it was leaking. This is really tough to do on this kind of a doggone garage, driveway, I mean. Okay, so I got two spots of blow by here. First is here, right here, and tasting it, it's definitely oil. But this is the point in particular here where it was leaking, or at least where it showed up first, and you can see a little bit of oil there now. It could be the rear main seal here, which would be very bad. However, you can't see it up here yet, but the oil line for the pressure comes off the back of the block, and so it could run right off down the side here, which it kind of is. It feels like it. And if there's oil up above, which there is, then it wouldn't seem to come from the seal, which is behind this plate and lower, or in the middle. So I'm gonna wipe this down and see if the oil pressure line was partly the cause of it. There was certainly a lot of oil around the oil pressure line, and if it's not this, then it's going to be probably the next thing to do would be the valve cover gaskets. So anyway, that's where we are on that. All right, hang loose, baby.